Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Here we are, we finally made it. It is indeed good old episode 10. It is the season closer. Now, we did say that we were going to have some beers for this one, but Carbs isn't very well today, so Carbs checked himself into the salad clinic before we started recording, and we've given him some top tips or some advice on how to deal with migraines, because to be fair, migraines are pretty shit, to be honest. I used to have plenty as a kid, and we've got to just give credit where it's due. He's turned up, he's here. Don't matter about the beers, I can drink the beers for him. So I'm here on the Brewdog. I forgot what it's called now, but Blood Heart. No, Black Heart. It's Brewdog's version of Guinness. Ireland and all that. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. And Carbs is here, rocking his pure life, which sort of fucks up what I had planned for this first part of the episode. Because, seeing as we were both going to be drinking beers, I was going to ask you all about beers. But before we get on to that, I just need to mention my mum, because my mum listened to the Tunisian rug episode 8.
Love that story. I love that story.
It's a banger, you know what I mean? You just had to be there. You don't even have to be there. It's pretty good anyway. But she listened to it, and apparently she's listened to 7 first on YouTube, and then she listened to episode 8 first on YouTube. So she's going for the hat trick, and she's been asking me, is episode 9 on yet? It's like, no, blimey. we haven't got a producer, we haven't got an editor, you know what I mean? It's how many hours are in the day? I need Hermione's bloody that device she had where she could go back it past. Anyway, enough of Hogwarts.
The time turner.
Set the time turner. Says me though, sat here with my Gryffindor scarf on. Gryffindor! Sat here with a Gryffindor scarf and me Burnley promotion bucket hat. Probably one of the most expensive bucket hats out on the market at the moment. But you know what I mean? It give you that nostalgic Oasis sort of Manchester vibes, even though we're in Burnley. But yeah, jumped on the bandwagon there. So let's go back to beers, shall we? No, in fact, let's check in on Carbs. Let's see how he is.
Yeah, I mean, normally I'd give you the old spiel. Oh yeah, it's been a great day. I'm feeling good and all this lot. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like crap, as you've already alluded to with the migraine. Today's literally just been a day of just like keeping my eyes closed and resting around and just trying to feed myself, eat things that are easy to eat, and water as well.
Are you swerving that Moroccan style hummus? Have you? You've already had it. I'm going to say, we need to start doing a food diary, don't we? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think we've got the title of the episode already, though. I'm not going to lie. I feel like crap. It's not a bad one, is it?
Yeah.
So I think that's a contender, early contender for the title of the episode. There's no rhyme or reason to how I come up with these titles to the episodes. Whilst I'm editing the episodes, I just try and think of a phrase or something that ties into what we've been talking about. But you were waving the old pen at me then, which indicates you want to say something.
I was just thinking, sounds like you look for something that's got like a bit of a hook. But the reason why I was waving my pen at you then was because in sort of respect of the Tunisian rug story, I've put on a Tunisian football team shirt. So I'm currently wearing the Tunisian national shirt. So
that's epic, because today we wanted to have a bit of a celebration of season 1. It's a bit of a milestone. We set out to do one a very long time ago. I'm like a broken record, me. But we wanted to do a podcast for a long time, and then we did one, and then it sort of died a death, and then we brought it back. And I think we've done it, to a decent standard where, we've got a bit of momentum now, and we've actually got a tangible product that we can go away and dissect and analyse after this season. But today is the season closer, and I think what we've got in store today is a little bit of a reflection on season 1. Some of the highlights, some of the maybe honourable mentions, because Carbs has this insane habit of coming into episodes. I don't want to say blind, but it's me who puts the episodes together, really, and he's just sat there waiting for me to hit him with question after question, or what do you think of this, or what's your top 3 places to eat in the Northwest? Shit, can't think of any. And then after the episode, what tends to happen is that Carbs will then text me and say, oh, but I forgot to mention all these things. It's like, bloody hell, could have done with it. I mean, episode. But then again, I might be sat there for a lot longer editing the episodes. So before we get into the highlights, and it's nice that you've got the Tunisia shirt on, because Tunisian rug episode, it wasn't just about Tunisian rugs. You've been to Tunisia, I've been to Tunisia, a bit of common ground. I'm sat here with my Gryffindor scarf on for the Hogwarts house debate, as it was called on the old editing section. It was like the Hogwarts House debate. It's like, wow, really? Is that what we're calling it? But before we get into that, seeing as we're on the theme of beers, I was going to ask you, what is your weapon of choice? What is your go-to beer?
So with beers, for me, I have this thing where I can't drink lager. And don't get me wrong, like, I love beer, but it's kind of annoying to me that I struggle so much with lager, and lager is the one that's more readily available and more accessible, and there's probably just more brands and just kind of recipes of it that just I find. But I do love a good bitter. I love a good bitter, a smooth, an ale. My genuine favourite beer is mild, and more specifically, Thwaites mild. That's used to be brewed in Blackburn Town Centre until the brewery moved to Salisbury. But
Do you remember when it closed down? Do you remember when Thwaites
Yeah.
Brewery closed down in Blackburn? And they used to have that big tower, didn't they, with Thwaites in letters, red letters. And when they were closing it down, they turned off certain letters, so it didn't say Thwaites anymore. It said twat.
Oh shit!
It was unbelievable. So you like a bit of mild, eh? Honestly,
Yeah.
if I had to pick any drink in the world to describe carbs with, I reckon mild or bitter would have been in there. You know what I mean? Do you carry a set of snooker balls around with you at the same time?
It's funny though, because with mild, it's very much a dying beer because it's not a fashionable drink, and on top of that, it takes care to maintain in the pubs. So sometimes even the people that work in the pubs, even if they do like it themselves, they just think like, oh, it takes a lot of work to maintain this. Just rather it just not be on the menu and just like stick to like your more mainstream, easier to pour, easier to maintain drinks like lager, for example. You know, it's probably the reason why it's been successful, because it's just easier to maintain. It doesn't require as much care. But I'm hoping like maybe this is like, you know, maybe me thinking like there's going to be some sort of hipster revival of it, like, you know, like, because it happens when a drink's dying off, the hipsters come out of nowhere, and then the olders say like, oh, we want this, we want that, what's this drink that no one drinks? Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with it, why does no one drink it? We're going to drink it, we're going to, you know, we want to see more of this. And I'm hoping there's going to be another resurgence of it, like what happened with bitter and your IPIs and your ales, because they died off a little bit as well, and I'm hoping mild gets the same treatment as well.
The Salad Carbs podcast season 2, brought to you by mild. It could be a thing. It could be a revival. See, there is an issue with mild. So last time I ordered a pint of mild, the poor barman lost his job because he walked behind the bar, went into a TARDIS, and no one ever saw him again. He had to go back into the past. You know what I mean? They're fighting off T-Rex. Like, listen, I'm here for a pint of mild. I need to get it back to 2021. But no, mild. Do you know what? If I'm being completely honest, I don't even know if I've had a pint of mild. I probably have. Proper working men's club tackle, innit? You know what I mean? You know, cigarette machine. Packet of cigarettes out of a machine. Get me a pack of Scampi fries. Boom, pint of mild. Real do. I do like a bitter. I do. Go on.
I was just going to touch on what you said there, because the working men's clubs is the perfect place to buy a mild. So if you're going to go to like a pub in a town and get a mild, and if that's the first time you try it, you're probably going to drink it and be like, "Oh, I don't like mild." It's because they're probably not keeping it right. They're probably not pouring it right. They're not treating it with any care that it needs. You go to a working men's club. There's one in Baxenden that me and you both know about. My mate that works in there knows how to maintain it, knows how to look after it, knows how to pour it. If you get a pint of mild served to you by my mate and you don't like it, you don't like mild. That's as simple as that, because he is the best at it. And it's worthwhile going there and trying it just for that.
You're tempting me now. I feel like I'm going to go to Baxenden and Working's Men's Club now to go and get a pint of mild. You say that like mild needs a lot of care, right? Now, I'm going to throw a caveat in here, or a curveball, and say, but does lager not need the same attention? You know, we've all seen the Stella advert, haven't we, where, you know, such a waiter's a Stella Artois, s'il vous plaît. And then he whips out his little knife, he scrapes the foam off the top of the glass. You know, just that nice. It's almost erotic how he does it. Just and like precision pouring, things like that. Like I've done bar work. Have you done any bar work in your time?
I've never done bar work, but I've been to the Guinness factory in Dublin where they teach you how to pour a pint of Guinness, and I've got the certificate to show it.
Fuck's sake. Top of the morning, got my GCSE and fucking Guinness pouring. Great stuff.
Pretty sure.
Okay, I've been to Guinness factory and I've poured a pint of Guinness and I got my certificate. Right, okay. No, I have done a bit of bar work back in the day, and you know what I mean? It's not It's not the easiest thing in the world, because different things need different levels of attention. Like pouring a Guinness, you need to pour it to like 2/3 or 3/4, let it settle. Then the actual pump goes two ways. So you pull it towards you to do
forward.
first bit, and then push it forward for the end bit. You know what I mean? If people want their initials in top of a Guinness or a 4-leaf clover and all sorts of crap doing it top of it, almost like being a barista. You talked about IPAs and non-lager ales potentially. I mean, if you go to the supermarket now, I mean, there's a supermarket near you, a mini discount one called Heron Foods. I mean, sometimes these sorts of shops, they're like the B&M of the I don't want to say grocery, because B&M's grocery as well as general merchandise, but like the frozen, chilled grocery world. You go into Heron Foods and it's almost the stuff that no one else wants. There's a lot of stuff on short lives, and they don't like. They'll have the staples. They'll have like, a bag of chips will be there forever because bags of chips are going to be around for a while. Whereas your beers, they tend to rotate a little bit more. The bottle of Lambrini, that's going to live there forever. You know what I mean? That is a staple.
But it's paid on the shelf
in some parts of the UK. Yeah, absolutely. But though sometimes you do get, like, you might get a Camden Pale Ale. Camden Hells, sorry. You might get something like that turning up. To be honest, prices aren't bad. If it's 89p a can, get me a basket. I'll have the lot, me. I do like Brewdog. I've drank pretty much their full range. I like a Hazy Jane. Hazy Jane's nice. Like I say, I'm on Black Heart now, but they've started doing a lager, and their lager is very imaginatively named. It's called Cold Beer.
But the thing is, there's no other beer called that, which is crazy because that it's actually it's weirdly enough, like, it sounds like unimaginative as you say, but it's actually quite clever in its simplicity.
It is, because then you're wondering, do I have to serve it cold? Do I not? I don't know about having it cold. I just left it in the box, and then when I came around to getting myself a couple of cans, they were probably not, I won't say room temperature, but the can felt quite, it hadn't been in fridge, that's for sure. But they were all right, and the 3.4%. And because it's Brewdog, I don't know if it's just my mind playing tricks on me, a bit of psychosomaticness going on, but it didn't strike me as like a Stella, for example, because Stella, you're getting into like, the proper heavy, aren't they? And you have a few of them and you're absolutely smashed. But there's not just beers, is there? When we're talking about the whole gamut of alcohol, there are other drinks out there. So are you a man of the cocktail or the long drink?
Yeah, so you mentioned cocktail. I've already spoke about cocktails before, and I spoke about the Caribbean cocktails that you might get at places like Turtle Bay. I like those ones. When it comes to cocktails, or just kind of if I'm moving to spirits, I would prefer it if it was rum. And that I've had various stages where I've drank other spirits, like vodka, for example. But I think I finally settled on rum because it's the one that gives me the least amount of grief the next day in terms of headache. It tastes all right as well. It's pretty good. Like, I like me. There's a rum that I drink that's 63% ABV. And don't get me wrong, I don't have it every time. It's called Ray and Nephew, and that is from Jamaica. It's like a staple of Jamaican culture, and you can make some really nice cocktails out of it because with as strong as it is, people don't realize this, but that rum is actually naturally sweet, and rum is a byproduct of the sugarcane process. But although it is 63%, you can't necessarily taste it because the alcohol content is so strong. But if you dilute that down with a mixer, and the mixer doesn't need to be sweet because the sweetness is in the rum. And like, that's what I find good about it. Like, it is just naturally sweet. And weirdly enough as well, I've been on those before and I haven't got drunk as quickly as other people, although it's 63% and what they're having might be like 20%. So I don't know. It just feels like a pure. It just feels like a pure drink. It doesn't feel like it's got like crap in it, and they've taken shortcuts. It's like it's a proper drink.
If there's any crap in a drink, it's probably coming from the mixer, to be completely honest. I've had Ray and Nephew, and it's absolutely fouse. Like 63% in a drink, what the fuck? You might as well put it in car. You know what I mean? That'll keep your windscreen clean for sure. You know what I mean? Need to get an extra 20 mile an hour out at car up motorway. Stick a bit of Ray and Nephew in it, it'd be fine. I've had Ray and Nephew, not for me. Far too strong as a drink goes. Like absinthe is in the same league, or any homemade like vodkas. Because I've had Polish vodkas made by Polish people. Fuck me. They're ridiculous. But I do like a variety of spirits. You were saying that some spirits give you a rough head, but I need to ask you, what's your water intake when you're out drinking? Do you do spacer drinks? Do you drink water in between drinks?
So what I'll tend to do is I'll probably have a bit of water before I set off, and I'll have a pint of water when I get home. But I don't do it in between though.
Right, okay. So that's probably where your headache's coming from, because your hangover is dehydration, in it. Your body's crying. You've abused it. Best hangover cure, honestly, water. Water. Full English, yeah, that's a nice little add-on in the morning.
Hair
You
of the
need to
dog.
be
You just don't want to start drinking again though, do you? That's the thing.
no, hair at dog. You know what I mean? Leeds Festival, fair enough. Once and never again. But I like a lot of different spirits. You know, I'm partial to a bit of vodka. I'm very peculiar though. I won't drink anything. So, you know, as we've learned, I spend a lot of time toing and froing between here and Ireland, which, you know, lends me to duty free quite a lot. And duty free, you know, you just get so much booze for ridiculous prices. So on the way out to Ireland, I'll always have a look in duty free at Manchester Airport, and you know, bottles of Absolute vodka. So I don't mind a bit of Absolute, and obviously they've got all the flavours, haven't they? But there's a couple, you know, I think the passion fruit one's nice, the pineapple one's nice, the vanilla one is also nice, and you can get 2 litres in there for like 23 quid, whereas you can get a 70cl bottle at Tesco for like, I don't know, 15 quid, 20 quid, depends if you've got a club card or not. So it just makes business sense. You might as well just buy it at duty free, but I get it. You've got to go abroad, or you've got to be coming back from abroad to capitalise on that duty free thing. I do like whiskey now as I'm getting older. You know what I mean? I'll be getting snooker balls out in a minute. I like a single malt whiskey. You know, I've tried a few. We had one in Scotland. Me and my partner went to her birthday and we lost her balloons. We actually went to a restaurant in one of the hotels, the fancy castle or tower one, and they had all these different shots of whiskey on menu. They had one called Glengoyne, and it were an 18-year-old Glengoyne. 18 quid for a shot. So
Not a bottle, 18 quid for the shot.
For a shot. Tell you what, one of the nicest shots, probably the nicest shot I've ever had. So much so that as we were driving through Scotland, we ended up in a place called Tyndrum, and we ended up in a whiskey shop. And it was mad because the guy behind the till went, "Where are you from?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He went, "I know that accent." I was like, "All right then, go on then. Here he is, Billy Big Bollocks. He's going to know my accent today." And then next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, you're from East Lancashire, aren't you?" I was like, "What?" He went, "Yeah. Are you from Corn?" I said, "No, I'm not from Corn." I said, "But I'm not far away." He went, What about Blackburn? What about Accrington?" I went, "There you go. Bang on the money." He went, "Hey, used to drop cars off in Accrington." I went, "Fuck off. Never seen. You never seen Aki?" He went, Yeah, Viaduct. McDonald's is underneath it." I was like, "No way." As if he knows Accrington. And apparently for his work, they used to do mobility cars, and there were a part that used to get fitted in Accrington. So anyway, he's sold me at that point. So we bought a bottle of, it was only 10-year-old Glengoyne, but we managed to get a bottle of it. Occasionally, you know, I'll dip in and have a wee dram and all that. But you know, I like rum. Do you prefer white rum or dark rum?
I prefer white, but I can drink dark.
Right, okay, I'm the other way, me. I prefer dark rum, because I think dark rum is the one where the sweetness is. It's got the proper, I don't know, I want to say like vanilla-y, sugary, like, I don't know if it's the colour, but I imagine it's like molasses, you know, unrefined brown sugar type stuff. But I do like making, I mean, I love getting a cocktail when I'm out and about, but I do like making a long drink. So whether it's a vodka, whether it's a rum, AU vodka, you know, the one in the gold bottle. So AU is the brand, because AU is the chemical symbol for gold. So all the bottles are like highly gold, and they do a nice bubblegum vodka. It's delicious, and it's like really blue, like almost unnaturally blue, but it's delicious. Have it with lemonade, just plain lemonade. Now, I'm a bit of a fiend for me ingredients in food, and there's a sweetener that gets found in a lot of sauces and a lot of fizzy drinks. It's called aspartame. I don't want anything to do with aspartame, if I'm being completely honest. And you find it in a lot of diet stuff. I've been a fiend for it. Yeah, I've been a fiend for it all my life. And funnily enough, over the years, people have been like, why? And I said, just try it. And then people who drank diet started drinking normal. And then they tried a diet after a few weeks or months or whatever. They went, you can taste it. You can actually taste the difference. But if I'm getting lemonade, I'm always like this in supermarkets, looking back at thing. Has it got right? Aspartame. It's got the A word. No, we're not having it. So yeah, I do like a vodka and lemonade or a rum and coke. That's a nice mix. But in Finland, it's a drink called, it's made by a brand called Kosken Korva, and it's called salmiakki. It must have a name after salmiakki, but basically it's the salted licorice with vodka, and it's like 35%. My word, it is delicious. You could just drink shot after shot after shot of that shit, and you'd be very pissed eventually. But Finland, I am claiming this. I have invented a cocktail for you. It is called the hei hei. Now, hei hei means hello, or it means goodbye. But the cocktail is a shot of absolute vanilla vodka. I'm sorry, it's Swedish, but you know what I mean. Gonna have to sneak something in there, aren't we? And then a shot of salmiakki. Salmiakki kossu, that's what it's called. A shot of salmiakki kossu, and the rest is lemonade. Honestly, it tastes like pop. It just literally tastes like pop. You wouldn't even know you were drinking booze. It is incredible. I'm going to have to make you one at some point.
Yeah, try it, yeah.
Just so you can try it. There is something else on my list. Do you like things like wine or champagne?
That's my weakness, to be honest with you. I don't like wine. If I had to drink wine, someone said to me, right, you have to drink a glass of wine in a minute or you're going to die, but you get to choose what glass of wine that would be. It would be Lieberfraumilch, which is a German white wine, and that's one I can handle a glass or two of. Everything else, no. I mean, I wouldn't even choose to drink Lieberfraumilch. It's just like, if wine's what we're doing, then that's the one I'd go for, but I'm not a wine drinker. Champagne, don't even get me started on champagne. That's disgusting stuff. How about yourself?
Are you ready for a story? Got a story about wine.
Yeah. It's another Tunisian rug story, yeah.
Oh, well, you can let me know after I've finished. I got into a phase in my late teens where we were drinking red wine. Got well into it. You know what I mean? To the point where I'd either share one with my mate. We were playing a lot of Pro Evo. Might have been summer holidays or something like that. You know what I mean? We're still in college then. We'd have a few bottles of red wine and we'd be just swigging it out of a bottle. You know what I mean? Just sharing it, like pretty much lads and all that. And then we'd have tunes on and, you'd be vibing. And then there were a gig coming up at Attic. There were a band on called Paddingtons. And they were making a bit of noise. It were a ticket job. It were rare that you had to buy a ticket to go to Attic. So got some tickets to go and see Paddingtons. Anyway, pre-drinks. What did we choose? We chose red wine. So we had a bottle each of red wine before we went out. So we're walking into Aki, already pissed out our heads. And then got to the venue, and I can't really remember much of what happened, except for trying to sing with the support band, having a beer in a pint glass on top of my head, and that were it. That was it. Now, apparently, I got spiked at this gig, and it was full of people, and I was so pissed. I wouldn't have even known. You know what I mean? I weren't putting my hand over my drink out like that. You know what I mean? If someone was popping me whatever they wanted with my drink, I didn't know. We learn from these things. But it ended up where I was stood outside, and I was so comatose that I couldn't even stand up. I just wanted to collapse. And my mate were pushing onto my shoulders against the wall outside, and I was just being sick on myself. But it were all red wine. And these people are going, oh, he's bleeding, he's dying. Oh,
he's throwing up blood.
Help him. So, as good friends do, they've put me in a taxi and they've sent me up to my dad's, where my stepmum were. And I've got there and she's seen me and she's like, what is going on? And she's had me heaving up into the washing up bowl, the classic scene. And then I think I've like mentioned substances because I just had no idea what were going on. Anyway, the word substances, that's what we're going to call them, has been mentioned. So the ambulance get called. And then all throughout this time, from being in the venue to where I wake up, I have no idea what's going on. I'm fully blacked out. I haven't got a clue. Can't remember being at my dad's. Can't remember being in a taxi. Can't remember being in an ambulance at all. Anyway, I woke up and I was like looking around. I was like, wow, this is a big room. Like, what? Where am I? And then I've seen the rails on the side of the bed. And I'm like, this is a funky bed. Like, this is what? And then I've noticed there's a drip in my arm. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in hospital. Right, okay. Gone to check my phone. I haven't got it. Don't know where it is. Don't know where my phone's gone. Anyway, the nurse comes in. were you drunk last night? I said, probably. Chances are I were. I'm sorry. I said, what time is it? Have I missed the band? She was like, it's 4:45 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I've definitely missed the band then. And then she asked me, oh, do you have a wallet on you? Do you have any money with you? And I made the mistake of saying yeah, because then she booked me a taxi. So I probably would have got an ambulance home otherwise. But sent me home. Taxi driver came and I was just laid on the floor in waiting room in A&E. And he was like, am I picking you up? I said, yeah. I said, please, can I just lie down? Please, can I just lie down? I just need to lie down. Got home, went to bed, didn't wake up till like middle of the afternoon. And then it all unravelled then, you know what I mean? People start messaging you, you start learning. Found out my stepmom had my phone. Not only did she have my phone though, there were some selfies of my stepmom and me in my hospital bed. She sat there, giving it peace sign, giving it thumbs up, like all these selfies of me in hospital bed, and she's just giving it up konnichiwa poses and all that lot. Honestly, incredible. And do you know what? I've never drank red wine since. Cannot touch it. Cannot touch it because it just literally it's haunted me forever. I just can't.
Drama.
Yeah, the smell of it just does me in. But for a period, I enjoyed red wine, but no, white wine, rosé. I'm not the biggest fan. Champagne, I don't mind. You know what I mean? It's an occasion, isn't it? Christmas morning, bit of Bucks Fizz. You know, if we're going all out and having a bit of orange juice with champagne, why not? And if there's something to celebrate, let's get a bit of bubbly down you. I think it's time to go for a break. It's been a very long section talking about alcohol. You are listening to the Salad and Carbs podcast. We will be right back after this break.
Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you'll get 2 of your 5 a day. Before the break, we spoke about all sorts of stuff, mainly beer, wine, spirits, everything, you know, things that get you drunk, being in hospital after having too much red wine. Speaking of red wine, there is something that I wanted to add to it as well, because, mentioned it already. I'm not a wine drinker, but there's something that just came into my head, because as mentioned previously, I am wearing my Tunisia football shirt today. And speaking about wine, it reminded me as well, you can actually get wine that is coloured blue in Tunisia. And I'm fairly certain it's the only place you can get it. It's the only place that it's distilled. And it gets its colour from a algae, I believe. And Salad, have you come across this before? Given by the fact that you're on your PC doing some searches, I think this has thrown you.
Blue wine. Must say, that intro, honestly, professional. I love it.
Learned from the best.
I'm Googling blue wine Tunisia and right, okay, we have a name. No, right, anyway, apparently it was called Vindigo, but now it's giving me Wendigos, and I'm not really wanting to be looking at mythological creatures or anything like that. But go on, tell me more about this blue wine. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so on a social platform that I use briefly, there's someone that I follow on there who it's an American girl that used to live in Tunisia, and she's, if you want to check her out, she's called Emily 20 Camels, 20 with 20.
But are they on chains, though? Are they on chains?
It's just a name, man. It's just a name. I don't know about that. Yeah, so she's like a travel vlogger, but when she got to Tunisia, she was thinking, well, you know what? This is a real hidden gem. I want to stay here longer. So she actually stayed in Tunisia for about a year doing content. She normally moves every 3 to 6 months, but she stayed in Tunisia for a year. I think she really got her feet down in there, and she loved it. And there's a short that she did where she spoke about wine, and because she knows that, you know, the nature of Tunisia being an Islamic country, not an Islamic country, but it's a country where a lot of people are followers of Islam. You know, alcohol isn't really popular there, but there are places that make it in Tunisia. So she's a Christian herself, and she has followers that are Christians and that drink alcohol. She wanted to tell people what Tunisia has to offer, you know, even the things that aren't necessarily what it's known for. And she did a wine review video. And one of them, she said, I've never come across a wine like this before, but I've got some blue wine. And she did a taste test of it and a review of it. I mean, I've said before, I'm not a wine drinker, but I would give it a try just for the novelty of trying a blue wine. I mean, you just not, if it's there in front of me and someone says, yeah, I've got some wine here from Tunisia, you know, look at it, it's blue. Do you want to try it? I'd be like, sure, try a glass of that, give it a go. I mean, where else am I going to get it? So...
What's the brand name of the wine? Is it Eiffel 65?
Haha, nice. Yeah, it'd go well with that song, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would.
But
Go on.
I can send you the clip, the video as well, unless like you want to watch it on a break or something like that. I can send it to you.
By all means, like, let's just get it on the list. We've got,
Yeah,
I've got
the
a
to-do
pint of
list.
mild to have. We've got to go to Crazy Pan shows together. Watch some blue wine. I mean, if we can get hold of some blue wine. Listeners, anyone out there, have you heard of Tunisian blue wine? Can you get us some? Do you know where we could source some? We would love to try some blue wine. I'm thinking maybe it could be AU bubblegum vodka, just in a different bottle. But no, a wine that's blue. Yeah, I mean, I'd be... What we're talking? Is it like aqua blue, or is it like royal blue, dark blue?
It looked quite dark, not like dark on the level of navy, but dark on
indigo.
It's like a dark royal, and I'm like I mean, have you got a picture of it there at all?
No, I'm my research team are struggling to find it.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, they're working hard. They're working hard.
They're working hard, and they're also trying to present a podcast as well. So you know what I mean? It's like, which one do I focus on?
Tell you what, we can come back to this because I've got a few things that we could speak about, in the time being as well. We can do a bit more research into it in another break if you want.
Well, I do believe that we were going to use the rest of this episode now as like a bit of a celebration of season 1. Do you know what? You've got away with my wine story has thrown me off a very popular segment of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go back and we're gonna retrace some steps, because I think this will lead us nicely into the next section, which you can take the reins on. You can run the schedule, but the first quick burn carbs of today is: what are your thoughts on season 1 of the Salad and Carbs podcast? Go.
Season 1 of the Salad and Carbs podcast. I've enjoyed it myself personally. Essentially, it's just two lads both supporting football teams that are rivals of each other. Put that aside, doesn't matter. It's about the conversations that we have. The recorded banter and the topics of conversation, just personal interests.
Okay, that's not bad. I think it's a little bit long-winded to be putting as our Spotify bio, but it wasn't too bad. Yeah, we are fans of opposing teams, but you know what I mean.
There's more to life than hating another football team.
There's more to life than Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Never mind Blackburn and Burnley. Fuck me.
Of course, never mind. And Gryffindor and Slytherin, yeah.
I've invested. So yeah, we are going to look back at season 1, and I believe that in true Carbs fashion, you've got a list of things that we probably didn't get round to talking about. Now, I don't think we'll get through them all, but by all means, let me know your thoughts. What have you got on your mind?
So you set me a task during episode 3 for the advert section to watch the Bodyform commercial.
Okay.
And we never got back to it. So I did go on YouTube and I did watch it, and I've never seen it before because at first I was just thinking, you know what, maybe I've seen it, I just don't remember it. I've never seen that advert. So when I watched it, I was like, who thought that was a good idea? This is what we're dealing with, but also at the same time as well, though, pulling that old card app again. Who thought that Munsters advert was a good idea?
Dawn, honestly, he got a name of an episode after him. Cigarette man.
He did,
because it was a highlight moment for that episode. The Bodyform advert, I don't know. Maybe
do you want to replicate it?
I'm not doing it again. No, I'm on
so
beer
you'll
number
do
2
it sober, but you won't do it with beers down here. Okay.
I'm not warmed up. You know what I mean? Need to do my vocal warm ups before we start doing Bodyform. Down it. Drop me a penny in it. Save the Queen. Save the King now, innit?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bodyform advert. Have you got any other pressing matters?
Yeah, I've got, while on topic of adverts, I've got quite a few honourable mentions that we could maybe talk about a little bit, or maybe just like and comment on. We'll just see how things go.
Yeah, I'll do my best Lloyd Grossman. Oh yeah.
Yeah, who lives in a house like this?
Dear me.
So, do you remember the Honda adverts? Remember the cog?
The cog?
Yeah. So it started off as a cog, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like a domino, sort of a domino like falling down, if you will. But it was using car parts. It got the first time it was on. Everyone was talking about it in the playground at school the next day because everyone was like, "How long is this going to go on for? Like, what is this advertising?" Like, it just like came on during an ad break. You got a cog that rolls, it knocks another cog, and it knocks like this car park and this car park, and before you know it, it's playing Sugar Hill Gang, and the car is like driving off. After all this, like a chain, the chain reaction of all these parts hitting each other. You've never seen this?
Don't think so, no.
It's actually amazing. And this isn't one to take the piss out of. This is one that was like, it was a really good production, like a really good idea, and it was well executed.
Okay. Well, I mean, Japanese shokunin, they're a master of the arts.
Yeah,
Doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
yeah.
It's not even ringing any bells. I'll have to put that down on the list, on
It's
the
got
pad.
another one on the list. Speaking of Honda as well, have you seen the one called the OK Factory? You're lost on me, aren't you? Basically, you got these guys, right, working in a factory, and what they're producing is these words of OK. And this guy is sat by a keyboard. He's the one that's fatter than the rest, and he's just clicking OK, like, because that's the word that they're printing off, like in this factory. It's like OK, OK, and look, and it does like a shot of the keyboard, and all the buttons are like have dust on them, apart from O and K, and then like the guy who's on the keyboard sneezes, and all the dust flies off, and he's like, there's other letters I can type, and he then types what if. And then a what if comes out, and it flies out, and then all the people that are assembling is, it's assembled like really quickly, and then like the point of it is to just say like, don't be okay with okay, be, think what if, and then go with that. And that it's kind of like an advert to suggest the philosophy of Honda.
Yeah, the power of dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ties in nicely to that. That's what I was thinking when you said he sneezed. I thought, I know what's happening here. I get it.
Yeah. Barclays adverts. Did you ever see the ones with Samuel Jackson walking down a road?
No.
So there's this one where he goes, "Can I help you?" He said. "You bet," he said. "How much?" I said.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I do remember these ones.
That was one of my favourites back in the day. And then at the end, when like, spoiler alert, at the end when when he says, how much? I said. "Sorry," he said. "Shop's closed," he said. And he goes, "I can't repeat what I said." And then it shows a bull kicking its manure off the ground.
Oh, okay, bullshit.
Yeah. So I remember saying that, like, because obviously at the age that I saw that, I weren't allowed to swear, and I was in the living room with my family, and then I turned in like, and I said it in like an ironic, sarcastic way, "Bull what?" And then my dad just goes, "Well, if you look at what he's kicking away, it's alluding to what he said at the end." And I'm like, "Dad, I know what he said. I'm just not allowed to swear." And he just went quiet. Anyway.
You've reminded me by talking about bank adverts. You've reminded me.
Yeah, go on.
Of the Halifax Extra adverts.
Oh man, I forgot that on the list, but that is a quality one.
Howard Brown. He was a legend.
Living
for such
legend.
a long time. You were going to school singing "Who Gives You Extra?" Oh my word, they were brilliant adverts. But yeah, go on. What else is on your list?
Best one for the Howard Brown adverts were was the replication of "Sex Bomb" by Tom Jones.
Extra.
I know you want more. I'll give you something extra when you walk through my door.
Look at this, unbelievable.
Yeah. On the other side of like the bank adverts as well, there are some adverts that I quite like a bit on the serious side, like the fraud ones, like the literal ones that tell you how to prevent fraud, but they do it in such a way where like it starts off all like, sort of like in a happy sort of tone, like, you got someone clicking through some photos on the social media, like reminiscent of the party times and stuff. And then it shows other things that like, and then all of a sudden the person that's looking for the photos is able to take details from the photo and like highlights them. And then it goes to another one, it'll highlight another. And before you know it, he's got like all the details to like acquire a credit card of this person that's on social media. And then like the focus of the camera changes, so you're able to see the reflection of the person looking at the screen, and it's like some old man that's like looking at photos of like a young girl that's on like nights out and stuff. So I thought that was pretty good. It's in a similar vein to like your effects. The effects are devastating for like the chip pan fire like warning. Yeah,
I'm gonna say it sounds like a fucking episode of Black Mirror, to be honest.
Yeah, well, they're good though, because they catch your eye, don't they? And people need to be told this stuff. Like, even if it is just on an advert, people need to be told. So yeah, Marmite adverts, classics, absolute classics. Where like I feel like Marmite created this advertising campaign where they owned themselves. They're like, you know what? We make this product. We're popular enough to run with this campaign that we know that people love it and people hate it. So that was like their advertising campaign. It's like, Where Marmite now is now grown because of the fact that they owned themselves. Now people even reference Marmite for something that is like Marmite. So it's like if something's like divisive, it's polarizing, then they'll say, "Oh, that film were a bit Marmite, weren't it? You know, you either love it or you hate it." But that is great marketing from Marmite in general now that people are actually advertising Marmite for them outside of outside of the advertising in person. So that were very clever. That's just respect to a marketing campaign on that.
The Marmite moment. When the Marmite advert used to come on, I used to switch it off.
Really?
Well, I used to hate it.
Yeah. Muted it.
No, not even muted it. Switched off.
Standby off.
I'll wait 30 seconds. I'll put it back on. I'll be safe then, won't I?
Yeah. The Tango advert. You got to know the Tango advert.
Is that where they went orange?
What it was, you got someone who's got like a kind of Tango, and it's like the view from like a CCTV or a CCTV camera, and it's like football commentary over the backwards as well. And it's like, oh, let's look at that in slow. Someone he just drinks a kind of, takes a sip of his can of Tango. And then he said, oh, let's look at that in slow motion. So they slowed it down. And what they did was, in the slow motion version, he had this like fat orange man running around everywhere. And then he taps him on the back, on his back. And then when he turns around, he like slaps him with both hands across the face. And then like it was to replicate like the freshness and the impact of what drinking Tango has. So, but obviously,
you've been tangoed.
You know when you've been tangoed, yeah.
Yeah,
you know this one.
Yeah. Well, the ringing a bell.
So
keep going.
Yeah, I got a few more cars here. So remember the Corsa adverts? The come on.
The what?
No, the Corsa, Vauxhall Corsa.
I can't get it off that. You need to give me a bit more.
But what it is that you got these little teddies, and they end up like all like cramming into a car and driving the Vauxhall Corsa, and they're all just going like, "Come on!" There's no real substance to it. It's just rings
that a bell for some. When you mentioned the teddies, it was like, oh, I think I can recall this.
Yeah, you could buy them as well. You could. I think I looked fairly recently about if you can still get hold of these, and I think people are selling them on eBay.
Oh, they will be
Next to the 40. Yeah, next to the fucking 40 blue pizza badges for a quid each. Yeah. So Renault Megane, it was that one. I see you, baby, shaking that ass. As the
I see you, baby, shaking that ass. I won't do body form, but I'll do that.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah. What else we got here? Hyundai. You being a musician, you like this one actually. So Hyundai, basically, it just talks about how it shows like various scenes of driving across like different landscapes, like in a desert and whatnot. And you got like a voiceover saying like roads are boring and making various comments. But the music piece in the background was beautiful. It was a piano piece by someone called Vanessa James. I feel like he might be Japanese as well, and I think that's one that you'll need to listen to just for a musical perspective, because the music piece was really good. I mean, I've already set you some challenges to learn some music pieces already. Like this was off record, but yeah, that one would be a good one to learn as well if you can. A classic here. This is like before my time, but I know about it. Remember the Cadbury Smash Potato, the robot aliens?
Yes.
So, they're like taking the mickey out there to human beings for the way they make mashed potato, like because like it's like they just add instant water, hot water to it and get instant mash, and it's like first they peel the potatoes and then they use this to smash it.
Oh, if anyone out there needs a Dalek as an extra, Carbs is your man.
It was Dalek. Did it sound like Dalek? Didn't they? I mean, it was with the times though, weren't it? So they were hopping on that little bandwagon, weren't they, at the time? Yeah, Dairy Milk, the Gorilla advert on drums.
Phil Collins one.
Yeah, did you like it?
Not for me, really. Obviously, it's 80s music, you know what I mean? It's all overrated. You remember the salad dressing?
But the thing is, I'm not so much talking about the song that was used, just like the artistry of the advert, how you've just got like how well it was done to make how realistic they made the gorilla drumming. That's right. What I liked about it.
Let's boil it down, right? You've got someone in a gorilla costume playing a drum kit. How the fuck is that good? Like, in what world is that a good advert? Is it the cinematography? Is it the colours? Because for me, I was like, what on earth has this got to do with Dairy Milk? What has it got to do with Dairy Milk? But it was like the Ice Bucket Challenge. Every man and his fucking dog's got, have you seen that Dairy Milk advert? It's fucking brilliant today. Oh, fucking top of the range. Oh, yes, I'm going to buy loads of Dairy Milk now. I'm going to buy myself a fucking gorilla costume. Oh, I get myself a drum kit. Unbelievable. But for me, I was just sat there like, so what? It's just fucking playing Feel It Coming in the Air Tonight. Like, it's not even a good fill on the drums. You know what I mean? It's like, give me some fucking Slipknot, Wait and Bleed. You know what I mean? Give me something good and energetic.
From an advertising marketing perspective, though, I can see why they chose a song that a lot of people would like rather than Slipknot.
Well, when you put it like that, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, right? I like some Slipknot, but I know it's not for everybody. It's a bit Marmite, isn't it?
It is a bit Marmite, but so's Phil Collins. But yeah, they tapped into a certain demographic with that tune. You know what I mean? If you listen to radio stations like Absolute 80s, like that song is never off, because they're just on repeat all the time. Like you guaranteed to hear that song within a 24-hour period on that radio station. And I've nothing against Phil Collins. I think he's a fantastic musician. But for me, as the cliche goes, it didn't strike a chord with me.
Yeah, there's another Dairy Milk advert as well, you might know, where you got these two kids that sat there shoulder to shoulder, and then they're moving their eyebrows to the tune of the music. That Axel something that do. Yeah, that was quite popular. That was in the Dairy Milk. There's a glass and a half in everybody. Another one of those that they made.
Well, you're talking of Dairy Milk, right? And have you seen the new? So it's not an advert as such. I don't know if they've done adverts because I don't watch TV anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless they start putting adverts on Fortnite, then they ain't gonna get me. But Dairy Milk bars now, they've like split the packet and they've like done it in portions. So it's like the person who cooked the food, the person who did the dishes, the person who ate the food. So like obviously it's giving roles as like important. So it's like the person who ate the food gets this much chocolate. The person who did the dishes gets a little bit more. The person who cooked the meal gets half the fucking bar. So it's like splitting up experiences that you might do with other people. And it was genius to the point where I didn't buy any, so it can't be that genius. But me and my partner were in the shop and we were just looking through all the bars of Dairy Milk because there's 12 editions. So you just wanted to look at every single bar of Dairy Milk to see, bloody hell, yeah. The person who planned the trip, the person who drove on the trip, the person who fell asleep in the back. You know what I mean? Like you deserve 2 pieces of chocolate, you. Out of a big bar of Dairy Milk. I think it's probably a good time to go for a break because we've had a good look there at some of those honourable mentions of adverts. But when we come back, we're going to have a look at some of the highlights from season 1. I've got a list in front of me here, and some of them I can't even remember, to be honest. So you might have to jog my memory. You are listening to the Salad and Carbs podcast. We will be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. I was just waiting on Carbs to do a clap then. So when we go for a break, we do this little clap, and it's handy to edit to. And I did a clap, and then do you know when you go for a high five and someone leaves you hanging? I had to do a second clap to encourage Carbs to give me a clap. So we're all clapped out now. We're happy clappers. You are listening to the Salad and Carbs podcast. It's episode 10. It's the season closer. I am 1.5 cans into my black cart. Carbs is about halfway through his pure life because he's absolutely solid. And before the break, we were talking about some honourable mentions when it came to adverts. And I think Carbs were triggered by wanting to tell me that he'd seen the Bodyform advert. But to be honest, before we started recording, he was showing me his list, and honestly, it's like he could have scrolled to fucking moon and back, like with a list of adverts that he had compiled in his phone, which is impressive, really. And there were some good highlights there. You know, you got to see my views on the Dairy Milk Gorilla advert, which I'm not a big fan of. And there were quite a few adverts that I weren't aware of. But I want to move away from adverts because this episode should also be a bit of a look back. A bit of a celebration on season 1 because we've actually made it to the end. So if we go all the way back to episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I said I weren't going to do it anymore, but I'm back. Here we are.
He wasn't going to kiss the badge.
Darth Maul's here, double-ended lightsaber, boom. All the way back to episode 1, and we have been making some clips, and some of them did get onto TikTok, but to be honest, it's a lot of work. You know, doing this in our free time, don't want to be banging the sympathy drum, but I'm going to get it out anyway. But
like the Phil Collins Gorilla, you're banging out the drum.
Yeah, sympathy. But you know, there's a lot of effort that goes into it. Got to plan episodes, got to get together, got to record them, got to edit them. You know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. But we love doing it, and we love the fact that people are getting in touch, letting us know what they think of it. You know, we've had some really nice messages. You know, people are saying, oh, it's what gets me through a work day of a morning, or, like just getting random messages where someone's quoting a line from one of the episodes. It really does make our day, spurs us on to keep doing more. So anyway, enough of that emotional tripe. Let's get on with a look at the highlights. You know what I mean? We get it fucking Kleenex out in a minute, violin. Right, episode 1, highlights. We had the phone number of the mayor of Aki. So this was my dad's address book, and the classic address book of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and some of the most random phone numbers in the world that would end up in them phone books. Honestly, it was like Wikipedia for people, but you just got the name and the number, potentially a role of what they did. They might have been a plumber. They could have been the mayor of Accrington. What else did we have? We had your very first quick burn carbs, but it wasn't called quick burn carbs then. And you sort of fumbled your way through telling us about your trip to Belfast, which I thought were pretty good. What else did the messy finger? Got to be the messy finger. Messy. See, you can't see this, and when we do make the great leap into the future and do video podcasting, you'll be seeing the messy finger. I am sure. What else did we have? We all hate Leeds. We all hate Leeds. We all hate Leeds. We definitely all hate Leeds because Leeds scored the sweatiest 91st minute winner that took the title away from Burnley's grasp on the final day of the season. And I'm not that bothered because we're getting promoted anyway, but it would have been nice. So we all hate Leeds is very appropriate. Oh, the pen's going.
I'm sorry, but how many late goals did Burnley score this season?
That's
it's all right when it's your team. It's all right when it's your team. I remember watching one game, right? I was watching the Burnley versus Swansea game, and it was such a shit game. It was so boring. No team wanting to win it. 0-0, and then there was a penalty that were given to Burnley in like stoppage time, and then obviously it scored it. Jay Rodriguez maybe scored it. I can't remember. It might have been Jay Rodriguez. Up steps a Burnley player, probably Rodriguez. Put it away. Crowds in raptures. absolute scenes and limbs, as the kids say. But yeah, what you were saying then about Leeds getting a sweaty winner like that was undeserved. At least Leeds were giving Plymouth a battering before they scored. Burnley didn't even look like scoring before they got that penalty. I mean, they didn't really break them down. They had to rely on the referee giving a penalty decision. They didn't break the team down and score. So yeah, you should be grateful.
It's expected from someone who might support Blackburn Rovers, that's for sure.
Listen, mate, I weren't hate watching. It was just like watching championship football. I don't actually hate Burnley. It's just a good rivalry for me. I like the rivalry and the banter between us. But in terms of the football club, I don't direct my hate that way like that. It's a Lancashire club. In some ways, I do actually like a club like Burnley being in the Premier League because it's like a fuck you to the Premier League because they don't want small town teams like that in the Premier League. Of course, I'd want that small town team to be Blackburn, but at the same time, it's like, it's like they just see them as like small, unfashionable town teams and they don't want them there. They want the big city clubs. They want the big names in there. And like they see clubs like your Burnley and your Ipswich, and your like Wolves and stuff. They see them as just making the numbers up.
I guess so. It's one of them, innit? Like your dad's a Leeds fan. You're a Rovers fan. Who's going to be happier with a Leeds last-minute winner than a person in such circumstances? Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on from we all hate Leeds. We all love Leeds. And then we had things like the Royal Rumble. We had SmackDown, the SmackDown game. That was a good bit.
Nice.
Because we were talking about, creating your own wrestler, chaining finishers and all that sort of stuff. And then we ended up on episode 2. And that's where Delia Smith made a first appearance in the Salad Carbs podcast. And to be fair, Delia Smith's been in a few episodes, to be honest.
She's a bit of a mainstay by this point, isn't
she? Is she going to make it into episode 10?
Well, you're in for it now, aren't you?
You're the impressions guy.
Where are you? Where are you? What's me having you?
I'm only here to do body form adverts. There we go. Delia Smith, she's back with us. Absolutely.
There was even a quick burn carbs on Delia Smith at one point, weren't there?
There were a quick burn carbs on Delia Smith. It was a bit of a disaster, to be honest. What else did we have? We had Walter White. Someone texted me about this. Our first ever non-binary listener, they actually texted me about this. So I think we were talking about ingredients in food and how I was looking at the back of a packet of katsu curry sauce and I said, is this katsu curry sauce a crystal fucking meth? And then they sent me that line with a crying, laughing emoji. So yeah, that was a bit of a highlight. That was a good one. Then we talked about beans on toast and how you're a man of the beans on toast.
It's been a while since I've had it, to be honest with you, because I don't really eat bread that much anymore. If I am going to eat bread, it'd be sourdough. But if I'm staying at my parents' house, for example, and my mum will say like, "Oh yeah, I quickly just made you something quick and easy," and she put some beans on toast down in front of me, I'd be like, "Nice one, I'll be eating that." But I don't really make it myself though. I think what I said on the original thing was it is good just because you got two components of a full English breakfast, and it's just quick and easy to make, and it tastes good. So I think
I think if someone made it for me, I'd be happy to eat it. But I mean, let's just have a little bit of cheese in there. You know what I mean? Let's just grate some cheese into them beans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
a little
I
bit.
didn't mention that cheese went on it, but yeah, I've put cheese on it. I will put cheese. What I do is I grate my cheese and I put the toast down on the plate. And I put cheese down in the gap between the toast, and I put the beans on top of that, and then I put the cheese on top of that again.
Oh, double cheese.
Yeah.
Double cheese. Cost you more at Subway, that.
Yeah.
No, but that sounds quite nice, actually.
It's a
That's
bit more
good
exotic,
technique.
isn't it, with the cheese?
Well, yeah, it's pushing it out there. I'm looking at episode 3 now. Episode 3, longest list of highlights I've ever seen.
This episode was my personal favourite, I must say. This because I'm the one that trudges through all these episodes looking for timestamps and stuff. That one was a pleasure to do. Like I genuinely enjoyed every moment of doing that one. It was quality.
We had Young Carbs, we had Tots TV, we had Processed Carb. He's moved on. We had Alakazam, we had Espion.
Espion, yeah, with Bite, the move Bite, weren't it? The dark
move.
Yeah.
I've remembered. What else do we have? Eels up inside you. Find the entrance where they can.
Brew for your mind, for your tummy, for your anus. Eels.
Eels. Eels. Eels.
I want to do it with you, but there's a little bit of lag between the delay. I don't want it to be out of sync.
It'd be like some mad call and response thing, like eels. Anyway, that were a bad Mighty Boosh impression from us both there. We had grand designs because there's no better night for a student than a bowl of instant ramen and fucking grand designs on DVD. You know what I mean? Never mind Manchester City Centre. Nah, grand designs is where it's at. Then we had Big Brother, we had Weakest Link, we had Deal and Ordeal and the Governor, who I thought was someone's partner, but it's not. It's an amount of £26,000. Then we had car advert lies. I was going to bring this up earlier because you were talking about a lot of car adverts, and you were talking about one where the Hyundai one where they were driving. It was more about the piano piece, but I were going to ask you, were those roads empty? When that car were on those roads, was there any traffic? Were we stuck on the M6? Were we fucked? Then we had the Ron Seal ad that does exactly what it says on the tin. We had the Budweiser ads. We had wine gums.
There's a moose loose around this house.
Oh, dearie me. Honestly, we're going to stop doing a podcast and we're just going to do TV theme tunes from now on. We had Belly's Gonna Get You. We had Body Form Part 1. Delia Smith again. I'm guessing that were a quick burn carbs. Then we had a bit of Peter Kay. Then we were talking about Blackpool holidays. And then we had good old Jim White. Episode 4, we had...
You didn't hit record on that one when we started.
No, you had to tell me to hit record. Yeah, you've got the same list of notes up as I have. Yeah,
I'm the one that sent you the list, mate. I've still got it.
Shout them out whenever you want. Kenilworth Road experience. We've got Brendan on the coach. 100 listeners, milestone. Said I was going to retire, but you know what I mean. I offered a new contract and all that. You know, I reneged on my initial announcement. We had Munsters, of course we did. We had adult content. Can't beat a bit of adult content. You know what I mean? How do you say those words without it meaning someone else? What's the world done to us? Adult content just means over the age of 18. It's almost like anyone over the age of 18 do different things, what you're trying to say. Then we had quick burn carbs on Blockbuster, renting Transformers. Still not got that. You know what I mean? I really ought to locate that. There must be a DVD of that video. I'll have to get myself a copy. We had Hagen Dolls, which I've actually had a few of this past week. So they do miniatures now, don't they? You can buy them in the old supermarché.
Be a bit more like,
yeah. I'm counting my carbs. So they're like 4 small pots, aren't they? Some right good flavours though. Salted caramel, dulce de leche. Oh yes, please. Then we had a bit of Black Mirror. Some of these, honestly, they're like gobbledygook to me.
They make more sense when you listen to them because I know what you're saying because it's just like the title of the timestamp, innit? But
honestly, it's like reading shorthand. Then we had Harry Kane, good old Harry Kane. He's won a trophy now, hasn't he? He's won a Go on,
I
Harry,
texted
lad.
you about that when I found out. I was like,
You
Kane's won a
did?
trophy. Yeah.
I know. Then we got on to the old TV licence, and then we got on to the old state-sponsored television in China, and then we got on to pen pointing. Pen pointing, what a theme that is. If Carbs has something to say, the pen comes out, the biro lid gets pointed my way. It's almost like he thinks he's a Ravenclaw wizard, and he points it at me, and as if by magic I shut up. He's doing his spells on me.
And Guardio Leviosa.
Expelliarmus. Episode 5, what did we have? We had the perfect bruise. No idea what the perfect bruise is. We had
The perfect bruise was your foot.
the perfect bruise, almost like a straight line down the side of my foot.
Yeah. Some
Hey, it's
sense will be
actually-
done.
Yeah, it's actually not so bad now. I've been doing a bit of light exercise. I can jump, but it's not like I'm doing a full jump, but I can spring off the heel, but it's still, so the way the foot went, it turned, there's probably a name for it, the way it rotated, but basically my big toe came up and I went on that angle, as opposed to like the little toe coming inwards, I went outwards on it. So to rotate that way is still a little bit iffy. And obviously there's still some swelling around the ankle joint, but the rest of the foot isn't so bad. But yeah, that was the perfect bruise. We had Scream. We had The Human Centipede. What a banger that is. Then we had The Room. Good film. Then we had Never Seen It. Oh, the IMDb top 250 list. We need to make a tune of that. I'll get a beat made on Logic about Never
It
Seen
was like
It.
Blackout Crew, weren't it?
Seen it, never seen it, seen it, never seen it, never seen it, seen it. It were a banger, that. Then we had Cigarette Man, of course we did.
Yeah. Do we need to say what that is? Or...
Do we any fans of the Salad Carbs podcast know
It's
what
what-
that
I tell you
Cigarette
what,
Man is?
It is one of my favourite running jokes in this podcast. It's just, I love it. It just cracks me up every time.
That Cigarette Man.
Yeah.
What else did we have? We had Saw and the Saw theme and how the music kicked in when that climax were happening. What else have we had?
Quick burn carbs on films that I've got here.
Yeah, quick burn carbs on films. It's like trying to read fucking Da Vinci Code, this. We had Parasite, peasant cinemas. Once you've been to every cinema is a bit of a peasant cinema. You know what I mean? We're only joking, but it is. Once you've had a 3-flavour sundae on one of them sofas, you're never going back. Seals Broken, Bursting at Luton, Pearl and Dean. There you go. Film starting, get your phone on silent. Shut up. I'm trying to watch this film. Episode 6, we've not got an exhaustive list for episode 6. So we were dealing with things like Burnley being promoted. And I think that was on the back of the Sheffield United game. So it was official at that point. And then we were talking about video games, weren't we? So we spent a lot of time talking about Destiny, and we talked about the famous weapon that's created of the breath of the dragon of Rakmar, or whatever land I'd invented.
Yeah.
Then we talked about Final Fantasy VII. Then we talked about some indie games, which is cool because it seems to have got you back into listening to a bit of Monster Cat. So you know what I mean? I'm not just...
I went through that list last night and I looked at what was on it and there was nothing I recognised. So I think it's they either didn't pick the ones I listened to, or maybe it's like a different era that they pick from.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think they must have just like released certain volumes at different times. But Ampersand, for some reason, rings a bell. And the only place I'd have heard that is definitely on Rocket League. Then we had music in games. We talked a little bit about the different soundtracks that we've heard whilst we've played different games. Episode 7, Swedish Chocolate. So you did actual taste experiment. You did the Dairy Milk Dime versus Marabou Dime, and you told me that you were loving it. Obviously, we've done a lot of questions and feedback because we love that sort of stuff. Then we looked at your top 5 gigs. So you told us all about Example, and then I told you off because there were too many examples of Example.
So there's something I want to clear up with that. There is, with the top 5 gigs, there was a huge one that I totally forgot about and missed off, and I can't believe it because it definitely would have been in my top 5. I've been to see 21 Pilots in Manchester Arena. And have you dabbled into any of their work at all? I don't know how familiar you are with 21 Pilots.
I mean, I like some of the stuff. It's not 100% for me.
Yeah.
It's just one of them, innit? A bit of Stressed Out's all right. Blurry Face. That's the
Blurry
same
Face
song,
is the name of the album.
Oh, Blurry Face is the name of the album.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, Stressed Out's a tune.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm all right.
So for me with 21 Pilots, it comes down to it was a lot of the right place, right time for me, because when I mentioned before when I was like looking for new music, I'm like, right, okay, I need to be on my open-minded mode, and I want to come across some more new music. And specifically, I wanted, because I got into Hoodie Allen, I wanted to come across more like hip hop or urban sort of music. And I was flicking through the music channels, and I came across Stressed Out, which I wouldn't class 21 Pilots as an urban or hip hop sort of band. Music came across that way a little bit when I first came up to it, and I was like, oh, keep my eye on these. Like this good song, it's not hip hop, it's not R&B, or not rap, but it's got those elements to it, and I kept my eye on it. So there was a holiday following not long after that where I went to USA. I think I mentioned that, didn't I? Well, when we were in Orlando and we were doing some of the like the excursions, like the trips and stuff, we'd go to Daytona Beach, for example, to the stadium tour of Daytona Speedway. Now, on American radio stations, you think that we hear a lot of the same songs over and over again. In America, it's like 10 songs you hear all day long. So it's quite bad. So, but one of those 10 songs was Ride by 21 Pilots. And when I first heard it, it was just like in the background, we were talking, we were taking the scenery and stuff, but subconsciously it's going in. And then by the end of this road trip, I heard this song about 3 times, and it's in everyone's head that was on this like trip. And we're stopping off, and we're at Chick-fil-A, and then Lewis, one of the lads who was with us, just started singing it. And I just nodded to him. I went, yeah, that's in my head as well. And then when we got back in the car, surely enough, heard the song again, got me Shazam out. Who's it sings this? Oh, it's 21 Pilots. It's them that made that song I liked before. They're Stressed Out. All right, okay. So when I get back from this holiday, I'm going to download this album. Turns out we didn't download it. I just bought the album and then ripped it onto my laptop and put it on my iPod, which was a thing at the time, and loved it. Went for my walks up the coppice and that, listening to this album, and loved it. And just been listening to them since. But it was that album that wanted me to go watch them live, because
Okay.
I like them. I like the stuff.
That's
like
the
reggae
music,
aspect of it.
though. A bit syncopated, that Ride song, isn't it? Syncopated is a classic thing that you hear in reggae. It's when the music is played off beat. So it's like,
I've heard that reggae means with the heart, and the pace of it is supposed to replicate your heartbeat, which they say because it's the same pace as your heart, resting heart rate, then you can relax to it more. It's a theory. I don't know. I don't know if it's that actual thing.
We'd have to be measuring the BPM of every reggae track going, and you know what I mean. We could either prove it or disprove it. Maybe we'll look at that in a future episode.
I would say it's a theory, just a theory.
Yeah.
Reggae fans would use that and say like, yeah, it resonates with me. It's like, it's with my heartbeat and stuff like that. That's probably what they would go with, isn't it?
It's nice. It's a nice myth in it that we get behind. Then we looked at music in general. We looked at me and my musical journey briefly, and then we looked at things like King Gizzard, who I am going to see next Sunday. Oh my God, I'm fucking super excited. If they play a Rattlesnake, King Gizzard, if you're listening to this podcast, I hope you are listening, but we'd love to see a Rattlesnake. We've got 3 nights, so we've got 3 chances, but a Rattlesnake would be lovely.
Are they gonna play the same set every night though? No,
different set every night.
So they must know that people come to see multiple shows then.
Yeah, there's people who are going to they're playing in 5 countries. They're playing in Greece, Bulgaria, Lithuania, Portugal and Spain. And there's people going to every gig. And they're doing nights. Yeah, pretty much. Which is just incredible. But yeah, Portugal's the first block. So 3 nights in a row next week. Looking forward to it. Hopefully get myself a couple of posters, because they're worth a few bob, especially if you can get the foil limited edition ones. They sell out quickly. Got my poster holder ready to go, and I'm looking forward to that. But if we see a Rattlesnake, my word, that'd be incredible.
What's the name of the song that you wanted me to listen to? You said you wanted me to listen to like a hip hop, like the hip hop direction they took.
Oh, Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper. Is that the name of the album or a track?
No, the album's called Omnium Gatherum, but the track is called Grim Reaper. You might like other tracks on the album. It's a bit of a mishmash of multiple genres, to be honest. But Grim Reaper is the hip hop.
Grim Reaper. Right, writing that down now.
Episode 8, we talked about Crazy Panchos because you finally went, which was fantastic. We talked about Natasha Bedingfield. Then we looked at our holidays, and we looked at a lot of different holidays, various other European destinations we've been to. Inevitably got onto Tunisian rugs. Of course we did. and
Love
time
that.
in Tunisia. Talked a little bit about Japan because we've both been abroad alone, and then we ended up on that annoying green bird known as duo, and a little bit of
Ding.
post-Duolingo stress disorder. I've actually done it today. I've done my Russian, learning my letters. You know what I mean? Je, que, th, yeah. So I'm just learning all my sounds at the moment before I start tackling all the words like privyat, carbs.
You're giving
Which
me,
is-
you're giving me like, a bit of nostalgia. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, to be honest with you. You're giving me a little nostalgia what it was like for me learning all the Arabic letters and the numbers and stuff. It's a challenge. It's good. It's good though, isn't it? You got a letter that's like what would be equivalent to two A's. So you got ah, and then you got, it's essentially a lot of them are the same. You've got like what we would put down as GH. It doesn't really sound like that, but it's like a like no, that's wrong. That's wrong. That was more the KH one. It's like a like that. Yeah, it's like a you feel it at the back of the throat, like you feel like you're usually hitting your tongue or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, that I'm digressing a little bit. But yeah, you reminded me of that a little bit. Learning not letters.
Okay, no, it's fun. It is. It's a bit of neuroplasticity. You create new pathways for your brain to work with. Episode 9, which we actually recorded last night, a bit of Moroccan hummus, of course. 49% chickpeas.
You're gonna try it.
I've already tried it. That's how I came to my conclusion. You know me, I'm a man of the experiment. You can't knock it till you've tried it. Once you've tried it, you can fucking hit it with a stick. Bit of Cornwall. Then we had the infamous Hogwarts house debate. I'm sat here repping Gryffindor, even though I want to be in Ravenclaw, but you know what I mean.
Well, now you can wear that scarf on a day like today.
It's not. I've only got a t-shirt on. I'm fine. Bit of Port Rush, bit of breaking down cars, going to the Giant Causeway. Then we had a bit of London, and then we had a little bit of chat on the Northwest. Now, what I'm going to say to you is we should end the episode here because we've pretty much talked about everything from the season.
One thing I'd like to say as well is like, that's season 1. And like a Natasha Bedingfield song, the rest is still unwritten. And we've got lots of ideas in the pipeline as well. This isn't the end of it. We've got lots of ideas. I've been, when I'm at work and I'm like cleaning, I'm cleaning something down, cleaning like the piece of equipment down I'm using, something can just pop in my head and I'll get my phone out and write it down. So we've always got loads of ideas on the go. I do. Salad does. We're always thinking, we're always planning. So the rest is still unwritten.
That is incredible. I was not expecting a Natasha Bedingfield reference, but it just feels so fucking fitting. You have been listening to the Salad Carbs podcast. We have really enjoyed all the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, the follows. Please keep them coming, and we hope that you enjoy listening to the end of season 1. There will be a little bit of a break before season 2 comes along. We're going to get our heads together. We're going to have a little think about things. And like Carbs says, I couldn't say it any better. The rest is still unwritten. Honestly, I think on that note, we'll end it there. This has been the Salad Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Look after yourselves, and we will be back bigger and better in season 2. Sayonara.
Bislemma.